Hi, this is Allyse Sedivy. You are on call number 8 in the Find a Builder program. And we are going to talk today about how important having multiple contacts is. And this call is called 5 contacts. That's like the minimum. But before we go into the details, I want to tell you the story of Molly Dayton. Molly and I have known each other for a long time, since college. In fact, she introduced me to her best friend, and I introduced her best friend to my brother, and they got married. So she's at almost all of our family functions for decades. We thought about doing business together, but she went off and did her own business, and I did my own. And so after knowing her for so long, of course, she was one of the first people I wanted to talk to because she's outgoing. She was the right age. She had a supportive spouse. She was influential. She'd done business before. They had a money need at the time. I mean, she was like the perfect builder, right? And it wasn't that easy. It took me 3 years of contacting, 3 years of introducing, 3 years of talking. I mean, it wasn't constant, but just every here, now and again, right? But 3 years from the time I first started talking to her about doTERRA until when she actually signed up. Well, she ended up signing up. In just a couple months, she went silver. Right after that, she won Diamond Dash. She was the grand champion of Diamond Dash, right? And now she's Presidential Diamond. So my question to you is, was it worth my time? Was it worth all those contacts? And the answer is a resounding yes, yes, yes. It's always worth contacting people, especially if they're like 5s, 6s, and 7s on your list. So I want to tell you something that I think a lot of people believe, that the least amount of contacts that they can have with a person, the more successful they'll become. This is absolutely not true. It's absolutely not true. In fact, it's exactly opposite. So let me give you some statistics, okay? 2% of sales are made on the first contact. Think about that. If you only contact somebody once, and then if maybe it's harder, or they're not getting back to you, or they have a concern and you stop, you're only making 2% of the sales, or 2% of the builders, or 2% of the signups, right? Okay, 2% of the sales are made on the first contact. 3% are made on the second contact. It goes up only 1%. That's basically if you talk to 100 people and you only contact them twice, only 3 are going to engage or sign up or buy what you're offering or become builders, okay? 5% on the third contact. Does this seem like a huge, growth? Goes from 2% to 3% to 5%, right? 10% on the fourth contact. But listen to this. 80% of sales or signups or finding builders happen between the 5th contact to the 12th contact. Let me tell you again, 80% of builders, of sales, or anything happens between the 5th contact to the 12th contact. What should that tell you? You have to contact somebody at least 5 times. You actually have to have a step-by-step system to make sure that you have at least 5 contacts before you put them in a decision-making situation or a purchasing situation. If you have not yet listened to the first part of the Daily Mentor calls, when we talk about contacting people and following up, please go and listen to them. It's dailymentorcalls.com. And I think it's around call number 2, 3, 4, and 5, something like that. Listen to them. Listen to them. Basically, what I found is this. I put all of my time into prep. I put all of my time into prepping people. I'm going to say it again. I put all of my time into prep. I don't sign them up immediately. I don't try and talk to them and then the first talk and then invite them to a class 2 days later. I don't do this. I make sure that they have many contacts. Why? Why is this so critical? Why do 80% of the people sign up or become builders from the 5th to the 12th contact? Well, let me tell you why. People want to like you, and that can happen on the first contact or second, and they want to trust you. How do you get trust from people that you don't know too well? Well, the way that you do this is you keep your commitments. You do what you say you're going to do time and time and time and time again. So if you only have 1 or 2 times to prove to them that you're going to keep your commitments, then the trust isn't that strong. And what I found is after I'm contacting them multiple times, I say, okay, I'll call you at this time. And I do. I'll drop an oil off for you. And I do. I'll follow up with that oil. And I do. I invite them to a class and I'll say, I'll call you 2 days before. And I do. I text them 2 hours before. I tell them and set up a time for when we can have a conversation about strategy with them and where we can set up a specific business plan. And I'm there over and over and over and over again. I'm building trust. And by the end, by the time they come to a class or by the time I have a one-on-one with them, or by the time I'm putting them into a decision whether they want to do the business with me, they already think to themselves, I like Allyse, I trust Allyse, and she can take me to a place that I can't take myself, and I want to be connected with her. That is the beauty of contacting and following up multiple times. So you might be shocked, but I'm, as the top ranked distributor in the whole world, you might think that I've signed up 2,000 people, 1,000 people, 500 people, right? Well, I haven't. I'm not one of the top, I'm definitely one of the top distributors, but I'm not one of the top recruiters by number, by quantity. I am the top recruiter by leaders and rank advancing. I've only signed up about 150 people the entire 10 years that I've done this. Because what I do is I follow a system of how to find and how to work and engage with builders, with people that are going to become very successful. Is that shocking to you? Well, what I'm here to tell you is I put my time into the prep. I put my time into contacts and following up. I could have signed up 100 people, but one person like Molly Dayton is worth 100 personal signups for me. Do you agree? Absolutely. She's a presidential diamond. And I have many diamonds, blue diamonds, presidentials, double diamonds. I have double presidential diamonds on my team, right? So let's talk about how important it is for you to contact people and for you to contact them multiple times. I only say 5 contacts because that's literally the minimum. So I want to read a quote from Michelle Moore that says, "Not following up with your prospects is the same as filling up your bathtub without first putting the stopper in the drain." Isn't that true? Not following up with all the people that we're giving samples to or we're talking to, that we bring to classes, that we get into continuing education, is basically the same as not putting the stopper in the drain and trying to fill the tub up. They're not going to stay long. It's not going to produce anything significant. So let's go over all the steps and all the contacts you should be making. So obviously the first one, and step number 1 is your first contact should be the initial call. Your initial call when you reach out to somebody, right? So you've written your names list, you have your recruiting schedule, you know how you're going to record all your interactions and experiences, you found your accountability partner, you've totally conquered, working on conquering your fear, and then you have your initial call. That is step number 1, and that's contact number 1. Now, if you're not clear on the initial call, go back to call number 4 in Find a Builder program and listen to the whole thing and review it and do the assignments. Okay, second contact is step number 2. It can be the sample drop-off. If they've already been sampled, you can sample them again. If they're not interested in essential oils as much as they are in the business, you still need to sample them. They still need to have a good experience, a great experience. It would be awesome to have an awesome experience with essential oils for them to be able to do this business with you, for them to be able to sell the product and to be passionate about the product. So step number 2 is the sample drop-off. Step number 3 is the follow-up call. So this is really an important step. If you don't know all the steps and everything about how to do a follow-up call, if you haven't practiced it, done your assignments, go back to that call, which is call number 5, and perfect the follow-up call. All right? Okay, so now we're on to step number 4. This is the builder prospect call, okay? The builder prospect call is call number 9, how to seal the deal. And this is the call where you're finding out a lot about them. You're finding you're asking discovery questions. You're getting their pain point. You're letting them dream a little bit, right? And then you simply ask them a few questions and you say, I understand what you're wanting now. And let me ask a few questions so I can support you. And then you go into how much time are you wanting to put into it? How much money are you wanting to make? Are you wanting to replace your income or not? All of those questions. And then you set up another call, right? To go over a specific business plan. So step number 4 is the first part of builder prospect call. And that's what you go over with them when they're interested in the business. Because remember, these are all steps for finding business builders, okay? Not finding product users or inviting someone to a class. And then step number 5 is that builder follow-up call where you basically say, do you want me to be realistic with you or do you want me to tell you what you want to hear? And they always say, be realistic. And you go through exactly how to help them meet their goals, and you give them a very simple, very duplicatable business plan. That's step number 5. Those are the basic steps. Those are the minimum. Now, I have to tell you, I do way more contacts than 5, way more. For builders that I'm personally wanting to work with, I do not rush them to sign up. If they're ready to sign up right away, okay, great. If we've gone through all the steps, but if it takes me a week, 2 weeks, a month, Molly Dayton was 3 years. And that was the longest that I've ever worked with somebody, but it's worth it. One of the things that I believe is if we want to rank advance faster, if we want to grow our business faster, it's not by pushing people faster than they want to go. It's simply by putting more people into the pipeline, going out there and contacting more, right? Following up more, helping people know what they want, getting them set up with a plan that works best for them. And you have so many people in the pipeline that, you just have builders coming at different times. I remember the month that we went triple diamond. We weren't even pushing for triple diamond. We just had so much in the pipeline that was going that I remember it was 5 days before the end of the month. And Patrick kind of looked at me and said, Allyse, we're really close to triple diamond. Do you want to push for it? Do you want to give some incentives? I think we can make it. And so we did, and we went triple diamond. The way that you rank advance faster is by putting more people into the pipeline. And the way that you put more people in the pipeline is you recruit more, you follow up more, you go through the steps of finding builders, and you definitely put your time into the prep. You definitely have lots and lots of contacts, okay? Now, obviously, you could be wasting a ton of your time if you put tons of contacts, tons of time into people that are 1s, 2s, and 3s, that are never going to go anywhere, I shouldn't say never going to go anywhere, but that are most likely not to become good builders, right? And so you put all of your time into people that only become product users, and this makes us frustrated. That is why it's so critical to go through each of these steps with Find a Builder program. All right, now let me give you some ideas of other ways that you can get additional contacts. Because remember, it wasn't just like 5 and 80%, will sign up or become builders. It was from the 5th to the 12th contact. So 5 is like a minimum. Let's talk about some additional contacts and what those would be. Of course, when you're doing your follow-up call and your goal is to have them feel good about the product and to build trust, you're going to be going through the regular sampling, following up, making sure that the product is working for them. So additional contacts could be dropping off more oils, right? So you're giving additional samples if their first sample isn't working well. Sometimes people are wanting to come to a essential oil class, an intro to oil class, before you even get through these steps of 5 contacts and sealing the deal. If you let out with product instead of business for these potential builders, then some of them would like to do either a one-on-one, which is additional contact, or an intro to oils class and then get signed up. Many times though, I go through all of these steps, and then at the end of seal a deal is when they actually come to a full-on class and get signed up. So another additional contact is a wellness consult. So if they have come to a class before, or during this process, you find out on your follow-up call that they're interested in coming to a class right now, then you're going to do a wellness consult when they get signed up and the oils get there. So that's another additional contact. Or simply if they have questions about certain things or want to get started, they're super excited, they want to get started before you've already gone through everything, you can send them the daily mentor calls. With a lot of serious builders, they seem like they just want to get going. And I'm trying to kind of go through the steps and help to get a lot of contacts and have them feel comfortable. So I do sometimes send daily mentor calls that they can listen to and get excited about. And those are a lot of different contacts you can do through all those calls, right? So the biggest thing is that you're making sure that you're in constant contact, that you've built trust, that you that they know that when you say something, that you will do it. And through this series and through this process is where they feel confident enough that they say, okay, I know I like her and I can definitely trust her. And I think she's going to take me to a place that I can't take myself. And they start feeling ready to really jump in and build a business with you. And that leads us to how to seal the deal. All right, I'm excited for it. Bye-bye.